Good morning, I am Dipanjan Ghosh. Today I want to discuss the anatomy of fairing plants. In my previous class already I had discussed about the morphology, that is the external structure, that is the modification of stem, modification of root, modification of leaf. So already I had mentioned about the morphology. But now I want to mention the anatomy, that is the internal structure of the fairing plants. Yet discuss about that topic. So I basically want to discuss the Neet based discussions, that is the N.C.E.R.T based discussions of that particular topic. So basically anatomy means the internal structure of the plant. And if we see, then we can see that we have got two types of tissue. One is meristematic tissue, and that is the permanent tissue. But if we go to the meristematic tissue, then first of all we see the root, apical, meristem, because the meristematic tissue have been classified into three categories. But before that, I want to mention what is meaning by meristematic tissue. Meristematic tissues are those who have the capability to divide itself. So where there is the divisions essentially to the root portions, to the shoot portions, they are the apical meristems is present. Root apical meristems, shoot apical meristems, which basically elongated the root portion and shoot portion. So meristematic tissues are three categories. One is the apical meristems present to the root and shoot, and that is the lateral meristems and intercalary meristems. And if we go to the axillary bud, then this is basically the axillary bud. And what is axillary buds? Now during the formations of leaves and elongation of stem, some cells left behind from the shoot apical meristems. This is called constitute the axillary bud. And if we come to the concept of lateral meristems, then we know that lateral meristems is actually lateral meristem, we have got the fascicular vascular cambium, interfascicular cambium, and cork cambium. These are the examples of the lateral meristems. Then if we come to that aspect, besides I think meristematic tissue, we have got the permanent tissue, and that permanent tissue are of two types. One is the basically the simple permanent tissue, which have been classified into three categories. One is parenchyma, another is the parenchyma, and another is the sclerenchyma. And if we see the if we go to the differentiation of the parenchyma, parenchyma, and sclerenchyma, and want to see where the parenchyma tissue is actually present, because the parenchyma is basically responsible for the storage functions, for the packaging functions, where the cells basically divided. So after the divisions of the cell, their packaging is very essential. So I think we have read to the morphology class about the modification of root, modification of stem. There we have read that how do the storage functions is actually done by the potato, or the carrot, turnip, how do they do the functions. So in that particular portions, the parenchyma cells will remain present. And where the deficiency is essentially that the parenchyma cells will be present. So we have to look forward where the parenchyma cells present, how do the nature. So these are basically parenchyma. The intercellular space are very minimum. And if we go to the structure B, this is the parenchyma cell. There are thickened corners, and the vacuoles are also present. And if we go to the sclerenchyma, then we see the fiber, and we see the scleroid. And they have been classified into different category. Okay, and basically if we come to the if we come to the permanent tissue, in simple permanent tissue, parenchyma permanent tissue have been classified into two categories. One is simple permanent tissue, that is parenchyma, parenchyma, sclerenchyma, and another is the complex permanent tissue, and that is the xylem and phloem, that is the vascular bundle. Now I come to the aspect of xylem and phloem, and if we see that xylem and phloem, then we can see that the tracheids, this is the tracheids, figure of tracheids, and the vessels are present, and this is very important figure because the seaport, seep-dew element, foreign parenchyma and companion cells are present. And what is N.C.E.R.T and N.C.E.R.T? If the protozyme, we know the primary zyme are of two types. One is protozyme, another is the metazyme. First, the primary zyme elements are called the protozyme. If the protozyme rides to the center and the metazyme remains to the periphery, then it is called N.C.E.R.T. If the reverse phenomenon occurs, then it will be called the basically the N.C.E.R.T. And we know in case of stem, it is N.C.E.R.T in nature, and in case of root, it is N.C.E.R.T in nature. Next, I come to the about the stomata, and already I have mentioned how do the gaseous exchange is basically occur. What is Ghosh, what is stomata for, and I will mention what is the K-pairs-Neet hypothesis, and how do the stomata opening and closing occurs. How do the stomata opening and closing occurs with the intensity of light and the alterations of pH. This is actually proposed by K-pairs-Neet hypothesis. And then I come to the aspect of the ground meristematic tissue. Here, on the basis of cambium presence on within xylem and phloem, if the cambium presence between xylem and phloem, this is called the open and vascular tissue. And if the cambium is present, this is called the open vascular tissue. If the cambium is not present, it is called the closed vascular tissue. Vascular bandi, closed vascular bandi, open vascular bandi and closed vascular bandi on the basis of cambium. And if we come to the anatomy of the dicot monocot plants, then I have to mention about the dicot stem. If we come to the first of all the root, so what is the basic difference? You have to look forward as compared to the dicot root, which have fewer xylem bandis, and there are usually more than 6 xylem bandis in the monocot root. So we can differentiate with monocot stem with monocot stem with dicot stem, monocot root with dicot root, and monocot leaf with dicot leaf. Then we have to look forward that where the whenever we have read about the stem, then you see there is neither any presence of, in case of monocot root, there is neither any presence of pith, pericycle and medullary rays. What have we seen in case of basically dicot stem? There is presence of pith, medullary rays and pericycle. So this is the very fundamental concept. This is a very fundamental concept here whenever we read. And where the parenchyma presence, hypodermis is either way developed or not, this is very important. And on the basis of ground tissue, one is ring shaped, another is the so this is the basic concept you need to realize, the basic difference between the transverse sections of stem in dicot and monocot. In dicot, there is presence of vascular bandi, there is presence of pericycle, there is presence of medullary rays, there is presence of pith. But here we see that all are absent in case of and if we see the venation, parallel venation and reticulate venations by the basis of that, and the which is called the amphistoma. If we go to the stomata, then we can see that stomata, in case of stomata is present to the one side, to the underneath, but here the stomata is present in both sides. If we look the difference, and if we see that one is the isobilateral, that is the if we go to the leaf, then the both leaf are both surface are equal. But in case of here, that is the dicot, what have we seen? This is the dorsoventri, that is both the surface are not equal. So this is the basic difference between the whenever we have studied the transverse sections of leaf in case of dicot and monocot, what is dorsoventri, what is isobilateral, what is amphistoma. So on the basis of stomata, you see here the spongy mesophy and the palisade mesophy are present. That is, the mesophy is differentiated, but there is the undifferentiation is actually present. And we can see also there is the bundle sheet either developed or not developed. So on the basis of that we can differentiate it. So I think whenever you read about that portions, so students that is who have prepared for NEET examinations, they should have to carefully enough what is the difference between monocot stem and dicot stem, what is the basic difference between monocot root and dicot root, what is the basic difference between monocot leaf and dicot leaf. So whenever they will read carefully. First of they will not gather the informations. They will look forward the pictorial presentations, which is figured out to the NCERT book. And after the observations, they will differentiate the basic difference, and they will get the concept. Thank you.